Hey, what is up, guys? Drew Parashad here, once again after a long hiatus, as expected, as always. It wouldn't be me if I didn't take a hiatus and just upload videos every so often. So here we are again, bringing another Dragon Ball Super deck profile. Now, recently, something I'm really hyped about has come out in the Dragon Ball Super card game, being the Anniversary Box. And for those guys who do not know what the Anniversary Box is, it is a box that gives you new support for older sets of the Dragon Ball Super card game, plus some reprints of the older stuff. I would highly recommend actually getting it if you do play the card game. Would recommend getting two, because they are actually fairly cheap for the quality of product you do get. Like, literally, you buy one of these boxes and the cards in the box are worth than the actual box, which is pretty insane. It's honestly probably the highest value product you can buy in this game, which is kind of insane if you take the time to sell your stuff. So I would recommend doing that. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk to you about this deck profile, the Son Gohan deck profile. Now, Gohan, this version of Gohan, when I was a kid, was my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball Z. And now it's Vegeta, because I've grown up, matured, and I'm the prince, soon to be king. But that's okay. Oh, but no, this deck's actually insane. There's never been a generic good green boss card. There have been good green boss cards such as Cell and currently Broly, but the problem with those cards, for just like a general thing, is that they're leader locked. So you can only use the Broly chain in certain leaders, and the Cell chain was exclusively to Android leaders. Whereas the Gohan here, this Gohan works in any deck, but the Anniversary Box card that makes this card playable is a green leader specific. So I'll go over the deck real quick, and I've actually tested this deck a fair bit over the past month, just played online since the cards were announced, and this deck is actually insanely strong. You'll cheese a lot of people with this, because the Gohan card is honestly one of the strongest cards ever printed in this game. It's actually insane how strong this card is. But I'm sorry, I'm having a little nerdgasm over here, but Gohan does that to me, It's just saying. But for those of you who do not know what the Gohan card does, it is the 7-drop specifically we're talking about here. It has an evolved which costs 2 green and 4 colorless energy. That doesn't matter. Double Strike's pretty good too. But the order is on the turn that you play this card, your opponent, anytime they combo with any battle card, instantly destroy every battle card and every battle card in the combo area that costs 3 energy or less, which is majority of the card pool. That's essentially every majority of combo cards that are free energy your opponent cannot use, and that includes super combos. There's only one super combo that actually gets over this card, and that's exclusively for Goku's lineage leaders, which no one actually uses. So more or less, when you play this card, your opponent can only combo with 10Ks or any other cards like Senzu Bean. That is insane. That means no matter what your opponent does, they are using energy. This ends games. Like, if your opponent's on 4 life and you smack this bad boy out, you get a couple attacks and they just die. It's like, it's actually stupid. But the reason why it's really good now is Bandai, thank you Bandai, have given us this green 4-drop Gohan from the Anniversary Box. When you play it, draw 2 cards. That's insane on its own for a 4-drop. And then it also has the ability, if your leader is green, play the thick 7-drop Gohan on top of this card. So you can play this Gohan for 4 energy and it draws 2 cards, or it replaces itself, because it's a 2-card combo and you draw 2 cards, or it replaces itself. That is nutty. That is like, oh, that's so good. Like, it's just actually insane. You're going to see green leaders become really popular just of this one card alone. It's actually ridiculous how strong the combo is. But now that I've nerdgasmed and wasted like 5 minutes of your time just gushing over this Gohan, let's talk about the rest of the deck. Now, the leader I've chosen is the Son Goku leader from the 3rd draft box, I'm pretty sure. This Goku leader is underrated. It's probably the best generic green leader in my opinion, mainly because the front side is anytime he attacks a leader card, you take a card from your life and you can draw a card. That's almost the exact same text as the yellow Broly BR. That's probably the best leader in the game right now. The only difference being that you have to specifically attack. Feels bad when my headset dies, but anyway, the only difference being that you have to attack your opponent's leader card, whereas Broly is just any card. So that's perfectly fine. But the backside of this card, which is honestly, look, I understand why people don't play this card, but it's because of the backside. But the backside's, it's not the best, but it's pretty good considering the other green leaders we have. So the backside has 3 effects. Sorry, the first effect being every time you attack, you draw a card that's standard. You also gain 5k power as part of that skill, which is really nice. The other two effects only activate. He has a permanent skill and another auto skill. The permanent skill is if your opponent has 4 battle cards in play, his attacks cannot be negated. And his other auto skill is when he attacks, if your opponent has 4 battle cards in play, you gain quadruple strike. Now, normally, that's really troll. Most people play around that, but I will guarantee you, early games in the day, like game 1, if your opponent doesn't play around, like if your opponent has 4 battle cards in play, you will instantly win the game if you resolve Gohan with this skill on this turn. Because keep in mind, they can't negate this attack. You're streaming for quadruple strike with have 4 battle cards in play, and they can't combo with anything that costs 3 energy or less. That's no super combos, no generic ass 5k combos. Flat out, just dump your entire hand into the swing. You'll hit like, thanks because green has the best super combo in the game, Paragus. You'll easily like hit like 70k, and your opponent will have like 10 or 12 cards in hand. But problem is that they're probably negates. They can't use those because your negate makes it so they can't negate. They also can't use, what do you want to call it? They can't combo with any free combos, so they have to generically tap energy. And most people use a lot of energy on their turns. Like blue relies on tapping. You smack a TN in here, TM2, boom, can't combo. It's actually so dumb. It's a cheesy way to win, but the Gohan just enables shit like that to work. So that's pretty much it there. Between those two cards, the rest of the cards we run in the deck, you should always try to fit in, if you can, 2 double strikers. It's just another way to end out the game. I usually use Kai's. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just whatever you have access to, Kai or Chomper, they're the exact same thing. And if people tell you otherwise, they're trolling, because the only reason you run this card in your deck is to give your cards double strike. People who tell you you like the optional thing on the double strike Kai, good for them. That's not what I put in the deck though. Next thing we have our early draw cards. We have Paragus here because a cool interaction you can do with Paragus. Well, the first thing being what he does, he just kills one of your green cards. You draw a card. The Gohan is a target for the 8-drop Broly. You can use Paragus, kill your 7-drop Gohan after you swing with it, and then play Broly, the 8-drop Broly. Yeah, you discard your hand, but now you have 2 additional more attacks. Like, the order of Gohan when you have Broly in play is essentially the same as the Broly order. You can be on like any amount of life. It can be 4, 3 life, 5 life, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, if you play the Broly this way, your opponent's not comboing with any cards. They have to spam the gates. And sometimes people don't have those negates to spare, so they just die. So that feels bad. So that's the main reason why Paragus is in here. It's literally just to kill the Gohan to get the Broly out. But early game, I do find myself a lot of the time killing my 1-drop Gohans, playing like turn 1, ideally Paragus is in play, or just a card that draws a card. Then I'll play a Gohan turn 2, draw a card, then I'll use Paragus, kill the Gohan, draw another card, just an easy way to cycle. I now have the next card I have, excluding the 1-drop Gohan, is the 2-drop Gohan from Clash of Fates. Now, as I was talking about before, green doesn't really have too many things that work for it, like generically. And one thing we're going for here is the Fledgling Gohan and the Krillin combo to play Final Showdown Son Goku. Essentially, we run a mini Kill Krillin package because it's honestly one of the best defensive tools in the game. What the Gohan does, it reduces the cost of Krillin by 1, and it has barrier, so it can't be killed. And what the Krillin's a deadly defender with barrier, and when you play it, you draw a card, and you're playing that on turn for 3 energy. Like, what you can do, if you're on 3 energy, for example, and you can awaken, you can play the 2-drop Gohan, awaken, untap those 2, then play Krillin. So you can do that in 1 turn, which is pretty nice. But it's mainly so you can just buy time to play out your Gohan. Like, if they swing into there, you just play your Goku and kill whatever they have in play. It's really nice defensively. Very nice, and obviously if you don't know what the Goku does, it's when Krillin dies, you play this bad boy. It has to be Krillin 4 cost or more, sorry. But you get to play this Goku, and it kills something with barrier when you play it, ignoring barrier. So it kills pretty much every card in the game. It's also another 25k double striker. But to be fair, you only play it this way. You don't normally hardcast this. The Gohan's is way more value for the amount of energy. Now, probably people are thinking right now, seeing this, people are probably thinking, why don't I run the anniversary box 1-drop Krillin where when you flip over, it's a 4-drop? The reason why we don't do that is because that's only exclusive. That card's only for Son Goku green leaders. This is a Son Goku GT leader, so it actually doesn't work with this leader. Otherwise, it would be really good, but unfortunately, we can't run that card. But this package is still perfectly fine. Like, the big reason you play this leader is to get more draw power from your cards and being able to control your awakening. Like, you look at the deck, you can put yourself in awakening you want. I don't really feel like you need it. It doesn't really come up that often, but it's just an option there. Next thing, we'll go over some of the black cards now. We've got Time Control Konoha, Toki Toki, and Minus Kill Zone. This is just you don't have to run these 4 cards. It's just because these are a lot of sideboard cards. I had some filler in the deck, and I thought to myself, like, you might as well, if you can, like, fitting Toki Toki and Time Control Konoha is insane because that frees up some space in the sideboard so we can have some of the other silver bullets, like Dende, for example. Or we wouldn't run Kami because our leader skill, Quadruple Strike, haha. But you can. It just gives you some options to free up the sideboard. So that's why I have it in the main. And Minus Kill Zone, mainly because Gohan kind of gets shut down by Cold Bubbles or Preemptive Strike. So that's just an easy way in the main board to get around it. Yeah, so that does it for the black card, the black 1-drops and 0 cost, I guess. Overwhelm cards, we have Bardock, the Awakened Instinct. It's honestly really good. This card's really insane. It feels a bit awkward at the start of the game to get to 4, but once you get to 4, you honestly keep on cycling through them pretty quickly. Drawing 2 cards and dropping 1 helps you cycle through your deck and helps you just dump cards you don't really need at the point in time, like extra negates or preemptive strike, so it's really nice. 1 drop of Mirror, because back to the point with the Gohan, if you resolve the Gohan and the Mirror on the same turn, your opponent has to negate the Mirror swing or they're not comboing over it. There's no way they are comboing over a Mirror swing when they cannot use super combos. There's just no way. Obviously, super combo Paragus went over that. And the rest of the cards are just some green utility. 1 God Strike Beerus, just a little spice. It's situationally good. The one of I feel is perfectly fine. 2 Father Son Kamehameha. This is mainly for the Broly BR matchup because, just play this, kill that. And honestly, a lot of decks nowadays cheat out cards that cost more than their energy. So this card, you'll have this in your hand, and your opponent will just randomly have some card in play like that costs more than their energy because they are like EX evolved it or whatever it into play. Just use this and kill it. So it's pretty good. Shocking Death Ball, Sparking Negate 4 of 100%. Then Preemptive Strike because it's essentially our Cold Blood Blast of the deck. And Cold Blood Blast is broken, and if it's similar to Cold Blood Blast in the sense where, stops a card effect from going off, and it kills it as well if it's 4-drop or less. It's honestly really worth it. And you get these cards a lot of the time off. Most of the time you can, like, early game, the like first couple of turns, like turn 1 and 2, you can play stuff, but that's one thing I really like about this deck. There's a lot of lines of play to do. It's not just like, oh, I'm doing this or I lose. It's like, okay, my opponent's going pretty aggro for me, on me. I can set up my Final Showdown Krillin. Or it's like, oh, I don't want him to play, I don't know, his 4-drop Zamasu or Preemptive Strike, that stuff like that. So it's got a lot of things to answer, a lot of really strong cards. And the way it ends the game, like, if you resolve the Gohan combo with the Broly, and your opponent's at like 4-5 life, they will die that turn, just straight up. They don't have a negate, they will lose the game. It's actually insane how nuts this combo is. But, yeah, that's about it. And real quickly, I'll say as well, some decks that don't go turbo aggro on you, you can play around with your leader. You don't have to awaken it straight away. Like, ideally, what I like to do, the optimal pop-off turn scenario is you're unawakened with 4 energy open. You tap 4, you play your Gohan, you draw 2 cards, you evolve onto the you use active main to play preemptive strikes on Gohan. Then you awaken, untap 2, play a Paragus if you don't have one in play already, and then you can legit just swing with your like 1-drop 5Ks and just combo into them. Because if the play's to play Broly, like, you just swing with your 5Ks, dump whatever you don't need in your hand because Broly's gonna force you to discard your hand anyway. And then, like, it's just really hard to combo over the attacks when you can't use your 5K combos. Like, you'll be just surprised how easily you just take your opponents in one turn, just boom, GGS, and then you dab on them and walk out. It's just as simple as that. Honestly, the more I play this deck, the more I really enjoy it. I haven't really made a sideboard for it yet, but just some things off the top of the head I'd put in. You can obviously put different overwhelm cards in, mainly for... One thing, I'll say Janemba is hard for this, because Janemba combos with 10Ks or more. I can put the Banisher Fu in, though, the new 8-drop overwhelm. That will just lie. That's the big FU to Janemba, by the way. Just bye-bye to your hand, to Janemba. Nice, see you later. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is add the other silver bullets, like I was saying. And if you need some self-awakening, you can smack some of that in there, too. So, I'll try to make this deck as, like, open as to, like... construction as possible, because there's a lot of things you can change with this. I see this, and I can see someone being like, oh, they don't like running Final Showdown on my overwhelm stuff. They might want to put something else in there, some other powerful green cards, stuff like that. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the information about this disgusting combination of cards that will tilt your opponent. Another thing I would recommend trying too, real quick, I would recommend if you're not a big fan of this leader, probably the best leader to run this in is the Chile leader. I would recommend having to play around with that. But yeah, I think that does it for me, guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed this quality content. Just by the way, because we're about that quality. But yeah, that is all, boys and girls. I'll see you all next time. This is True Pyro Shad signing out. Peace.